Hello, everyone. I'm Rita Toomey. Welcome back to Have I Got a Story for You, produced by PJ Library, a program of the Harold Grinspoon Foundation. Each month, PJ Library sends amazing kids' books to families raising Jewish kids. You can find out more and sign up at pjlibrary.org. But let me save you a trip to the FAQ. It's all completely free. Seriously, zero, zilch, nada, no bills, no cash, no moolah, no dough. And speaking of dough, today we travel back in time to the year 1909 to visit the best Jewish bakery in the small European town of Rosgart. Rosgart is known as a friendly town.
Hi, Rita.
It is a neighborly town.
Hey, Rita! We expect you for Shabbat dinner!
But most important to this story, Rosgart has the best, and, well, only, Jewish bakery in the county. Welcome to Jacob's Bakery, everyone. The smell of baking challah is everywhere. And what's this? Fresh from the oven? Cinnamon babka. Jacob's Bakery has the best babka I've ever had, and I've had a lot of babka. Jacob runs his bakery with Ira, his 10-year-old son. How's it going, guys?
Hi, Rita. Busy as always.
Yeah, today's Friday. My dad always says,
No naps on Fridays.
Friday. I was going to say that.
You might want to move away from the door, Rita. In 10 seconds, this place will be flooded with the townspeople of Rosgart, who need their special challahs before sundown.
Really?
Trust me.
Pardon me. Ow, my toe. Did I mention this is the best and only Jewish bakery in town?
One raisin challah for the Lewis family. Enjoy. Tell little Maya I made this one extra raisiny for her. One classic egg challah for the Berkowitzes. I hope you'll like it. I know you will. Oh, Mr. Fine, your mother-in-law's in town this weekend. Of course I didn't forget. 2 halot for you. Ira, son, can you wrap up 2 of our finest halot for Mr. Fine? And choose wisely. Mrs. Fine's mother is very particular about the brownness of her challah's crust.
Particular how?
Just particular. Maybe I should pick.
Dad, how do you remember everyone's orders this week?
When you're the best Jewish bakery in all of Rosgart, you gotta stay on top of your game.
Well, we're the only Jewish bakery in Rosgart, so...
That might be true now, but who knows what the future holds. When Jewish bakeries start popping up around every corner here, we want people to stay loyal to us. And how do we do that?
By baking the finest,
That's right!
freshest, most
By
delicious
baking the
challah.
finest, freshest, most delicious challah!
And babka. I love your babka.
I was going to say all that.
Then you're going to need to be a little quicker. Remember, you're taking over the bakery someday. Mrs. Lisbon! Wonderful to see you again. Of course I have your honey challah, lightly sprinkled with sesame seeds just the way you...
And that's how it is at Jacob's Bakery every Friday afternoon. In fact, to have enough fresh bread for Shabbat, Jacob and Ira have to start baking very, very early each Friday morning. Here, I'll show you. Let's fast forward to next Friday. It's almost 4 a.m. Next Friday, which is this Friday. Sorry, it's early. Outside, it's still dark and cold, but inside the bakery, oh, it's bright and warm already.
How's it coming on those cinnamon halot, son?
It's coming.
Remember, Mrs. Leibowitz likes hers.
Cinnamony, but not too cinnamony. I know.
Good. And for the Zimmers?
2-egg challah because they like the leftovers for
Making into bread pudding after Shabbat.
I was just about to say that.
I hear a lot of yawning, but I don't hear a lot of kneading.
Hey, Dad, it's raining. I think a big storm is coming.
And I think your challah braids look a little sloppy, Ira.
Sorry, Dad, but still. Forget it.
As Jacob and Ira work, the rain continues to fall, harder and louder.
Dad, it's really coming down out there.
Just use a little less water in the dough to account for the extra moisture in the air.
Okay, but...
Maybe a lot less water.
Wow, this is quite a storm. I'm glad the bakery roof doesn't leak. So as the rain rages outside, Jacob and Ira knead and braid and bake all day. And later that afternoon, when all the chalot are cooled on their racks, as suddenly as it started, the rain simply stops.
And look at all that beautiful bread. Nice job, Ira. We've helped create another wonderful Shabbat for Rosgart. Well, time to open shop. I'll just get the door.
It was true that Jacob and Ira's hard-working baking chalot helped create a nice Shabbat for the town. But Jacob didn't realize just how much rain had fallen in the storm. And when he opened the door to the bakery, well...
The bakery's flooding. Dad!
Ira, quick! Help me close the door!
Maybe we should have looked out of the window first.
Look at that! The whole town is covered in water.
And we're trapped in here with 1,000,000 chalot. Well, at least we won't go hungry. Sure wish we'd baked a few chocolate chip cookies to go along with the bread, though.
Ira, you think we're just gonna sit around while this town goes breadless on Shabbat? Remember, we aren't just the best Jewish bakery, we are the only Jewish bakery in Rosgart. Why, Maya Lewis looks forward to raising challah every week. She'll be heartbroken. And if Mr. Fine's mouth isn't full of challah at the dinner table, he'll never be able to hold his tongue around his mother-in-law.
But what do we do, Dad?
What do? We save Shabbat!
What makes Shabbat so special for the Jewish people? The Jewish day of rest, Shabbat, begins at sundown on Friday evening and ends on Saturday when the 3 stars appear in the evening sky. While families, like the ones mentioned in this story, observe the Sabbath in many ways, traditionally people gather for a dinner on Friday night, a lunch on Saturday afternoon, and attend services. Shabbat is a time for being with family and friends, enjoying guests, and relaxing too. Although, as that rain gets heavier, I'm not so sure this particular Sabbath will be as restful as Jacob and Ira are used to. To learn more about Shabbat traditions, including why we eat challah, visit pjlibrary.org/Shabbat. Now, let's put on our raincoats and jump back into the story. I'm just going to grab another quick bite of the babka too while I'm here. This babka is so good. They really are the best Jewish bakery in town.
So, we're saving Shabbat? How?
I haven't quite figured that part out yet. Do you have any ideas?
Well, what if...
Never mind. I'm sure I'll think of something.
Back.
But that's a lot of water between our bakery and everyone who needs challah. Too bad we don't have a boat.
Jacob was right. The town was so flooded, the only way to go into town to make sure everyone's chalot were delivered before sundown was to go door to door by...
A barrel!
A barrel? What's a barrel?
A boat is a barrel. I mean, a barrel is a boat. What if, and I'm not positive it'll work, but what if we used our empty water barrel as a boat?
Maybe it would work.
We could grab the biggest barrel we have
and load it up with everything we need to save Shabbat. First, the barrel. Let's move it to the window. A little closer. Then... Hey, Rita, help us lift this thing out of the window.
Me? Oh, sure. I hadn't planned to actually be in the story, but I mean...
Grab the bottom.
Grab the bottom.
It's heavy.
Quick.
Okay.
I almost got it.
Almost there.
I've got my end. Do you have yours?
I got it. Come on.
We did it.
Ah, we did, didn't we? All right. What's next?
Next, I lift Ira into the barrel, then we load it up with all our Shabbat supplies. First, all the challah, then maybe some bowls, baking sheets, a couple more of these gigantic wooden spoons, and some extra raw dough.
Extra dough?
You never know what you might need. Now squeeze to the side, son. Make room for me. Okay, one more thing. Rita, get your tuchus in here.
Oh, I mean, maybe I should just stay here in case anyone shows up.
And miss the rest of the story? Not a chance. Climb aboard.
All right, let's see. Just gonna squeeze. And so Jacob and Ira and me find ourselves afloat in the middle of the flooded town square in a barrel filled with bread. Now there's a sentence I never thought I'd say.
Dad, there aren't any oars.
What did you think the gigantic wooden spoons were for?
Row,
row, row your barrel gently down the town. Merrily, 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 holla before sundown.
It isn't easy work, but Jacob and Ira row us through the murky floodwaters, slowly but surely. Finally, we reach a house where the water's just up to the windows. Where are we now, Jacob?
The Berkowitzes live here. Get closer. Let's knock on their window.
Okay.
Jacob's Bakery here. Special Shabbat delivery.
Jacob, Ira, Rita, what are you three doing out there in this mess?
Saving Shabbat, of course.
One classic
Egg challah coming up.
Dad, I knew that.
So you're saying that you're rowing through town in a barrel, handing out halot?
That's a very succinct summary of our plan. Yes.
Well, you're crazy, but you make a darn delicious challah. Shabbat wouldn't have been the same without it. Be careful, and thank you.
You're more than welcome. Onward to the next house.
As Jacob and Ira and me slowly row away, Mr. Berkowitz considers their Shabbat-saving project.
I wonder if our neighbors have enough matzo ball soup on hand.
We'd better keep going. The Zimmer's house is next.
If it starts to rain again, we'll need to find a safe place fast.
Ira and Jacob make their way to the next house, where the Zimmers peer out their windows with concern.
Never fear. We're here to save Shabbat with the 2 egg challah you ordered.
Halot? Oh, right. With all this rain, I honestly forgot that. Our ceiling just started leaking. If it gets much worse, we'll be knee-deep in water by sundown.
Whoa, no! Soggy hello!
Soggy everything.
Maybe we can help. Let me get closer to your window. Here are your halot, and take some extra dough we brought.
You have unbaked bread dough in your barrel?
Well, sure. When you say it that way, it sounds nuts. I figured it might come in handy. Try using it to patch your ceiling for now. It should hold until you get someone to fix it.
I'll try anything. Thanks, Jacob. Shabbat shalom to you all. If there's anything I can do to help, please let me know.
I'm sure you'll think of something. Enjoy the halot. Now, right over here are the Lewises. Ah, they've spotted us. Hello there, Mrs. Lewis. We have your raisin challah, extra raisins.
That's wonderful, Jacob, but our living room is completely flooded.
What if we take
I have an
some
idea.
Of these big mixing
Take some of these
bowls?
big mixing bowls and use them to bail yourselves out. You'll be dry as a bone in time for Shabbat dinner.
I was going to say that.
That's actually pretty brilliant. Thank you, Jacob. And we appreciate what you're doing. It's just not Shabbat without a raisin challah from your bakery.
Glad to hear it. We've got to keep moving. The sun will set before we know it.
That gives me an idea.
You're looking a little glum, Ira. We're saving Shabbat here. Why the long face?
Dad, you never trust me to do anything.
Well, you're just 10 years old, son.
That doesn't mean I don't have good ideas, too. Or that I don't know how cinnamony to make Mrs. Leibowitz's challah.
We have a lot more people to help, Ira. We'll have to talk about this later. Speaking of Mrs. Leibowitz, her house is up next. Looks like we can get right up to her door. Mrs. Leibowitz, we're here with your hallout.
Jacob! Ira! Oh, I could really use your help. Water is seeping under the door faster than I can bail it out.
Well, we could... let me think here.
The gap between your door and the ground is pretty thin. I think I can wedge a baking sheet in there to block the water from coming in. Close the door, and let me give it a go.
I'll try anything. Amazing! It worked! Thank you, Ira. You've got a smart young man there, Jacob. And thanks for the challah, too. Oh, it looks like it's the perfect amount of cinnamony.
Anytime. See you next week.
Rita, it's nice to see you're enjoying your stay in Rosgart.
Thanks, Mrs. Leibowitz. Shabbat shalom.
How nice of them to make sure our Shabbat wasn't ruined. I wonder if our neighbor's Shabbat candles are still dry.
Excuse me, Rita. Can you give Ira and me a little space?
Oh, sure. I'll just scooch over to this side of the barrel and,
Son, I'm sorry. You're right. I should trust you more. With the bakery and just in general. You do have good ideas. Great ideas. This boat was a stroke of genius. From now on, I promise to listen more and interrupt less.
Thanks, Dad.
Whoa, look out! Sorry!
out of seemingly nowhere, a wall of water rushes towards them. I mean, us. We maneuver as best we can, but remember, we just have those gigantic spoons to steer with.
Dad, I'm scared.
We'll be okay! We just have to get through past the town square! Hold on! Ah!
The barrel gets tossed this way.
Oh my God! Oh no!
And gets tossed that way. Whoa!
Help!
And the next rush of water knocks our barrel over entirely, leaving Ira and Jacob and me treading water and gasping for air.
Our barrel! It's floating away!
The halout! It's floating away!
And of course, I didn't think to bring a change of clothes from the future. Ugh.
Somebody! Help!
Wait! I see something! Someone! It's the Fine family! In a bathtub! Mr. and Mrs. Fine! Help us, please!
Are you okay? Quick! Let us help you into our tub.
The rest of our halout washed away. There goes Shabbat. It's ruined!
Ruined? Nonsense. We heard about what you were doing. The whole neighborhood did. And everyone wanted to help. So we all got in boats, or bathtubs, or whatever we could find, and followed your lead. We tried to deliver Shabbat goodies to our neighbors. Unfortunately, nobody's home to receive the gifts. Everyone's on the water, trying to share.
You look awfully happy about it.
Well, the flooding also forced my mother-in-law to cancel her visit.
Andrew,
Sorry, dear.
we have oodles of roasted potatoes and no one to share them with. What are we going to do with all of these?
You know, that gives me an idea.
I actually have an idea too.
Why don't you go ahead, son?
How about we gather all the boats and head back to the bakery? We still have some dry challah inside.
Sounds like a good plan to me.
Me too, Ira. That is a great plan.
And so the full Fine family bathtub paddles toward Jacob's bakery, herding all their neighbors' rafts and makeshift boats along the way. By the time we reach the bakery, the entire town is floating outside, and a brilliant rainbow stretches across the sunset.
This is perfect. Now we can all have Shabbat dinner together. We'll just have to be careful about passing things over the water.
I've got my famous matzo ball soup.
I made enough chicken for everyone.
And we have plenty of candles to light.
We can all share our chalot.
Maybe we should start a chalot delivery service. Rain or shine.
Great idea, son. I like the way you think.
Oh, look! Even my mother made it.
And for dessert, babka! Shabbat shalom, friends!
Shabbat
Shabbat shalom!
By the next day, the flood waters recede and life goes back to normal in Rosgart. After that night, the townspeople eat a shared Shabbat dinner together each Friday night at a long table set up in front of Jacob's bakery. In honor of the flood that brought them together, Jacob and Ira bake a special braided rainbow challah for every Shabbat dinner. Naturally, it was Ira's idea. Celebrating Shabbat is so important, and we can all do it in our own personal styles. When we can celebrate in a way that also helps our neighbors, well, that's even better. Did you know that great stories come from all sorts of places? The story I just shared, the Shabbat Flood, was actually inspired by something that really happened. Sure, we added some silly stuff, but one time a flood really did inspire the town baker to deliver his halot by boat so that everyone's Shabbat would be perfect. Want to learn more about how to celebrate Shabbat? Head to pjlibrary.org/Shabbat for more information. And you'll also find a great recipe for rainbow challah approved by Jacob and Ira. Have you got a story for us? Row on over to gotastorypodcast.com and let us know.